Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Today we are going to talk about charity, Zakat, Sadaqah, and its types. Charity, one of the five pillars of Islam. Charity plays a huge part in everyday life for Muslims around the world. Zakat means to purify your wealth in the world by giving to those less fortunate. Zakat is an obligatory form of charity based on the individual personal wealth and must be donated to help to those who are in need in our towns, cities, or further afield in war-torn countries. Zakat is calculated based on what we have that is over and above our own basic needs and ensure that nobody goes without. To qualify for Zakat, one must be of good health, both physically and mentally, and meet the nisab threshold. This is based on cash, gold, silver, and other assets. Those eligible typically donate 2.5% of their profitable wealth as Zakat. Zakat must only be given to the specific 8 categories mentioned in the glorious Quran. If it is not given to any of them, then it will be void and necessary to repay Zakat and fulfill the right of your wealth that Allah has bestowed upon you. First, we will talk about Sadaqah. This is general term used for giving charity in Islam. All facts of worship through financial expenditures are by broader definition classified as Sadaqah. Due to there being many types, they have been divided into the following 2 categories, both of which have separate ruling. Sadaqah wajibah. This is charity which is binding in nature. This includes Sadaqa al-Fitr. This is from Sadaqah is similar to Zakat in that it must be spent on the same categories as defined by the glorious Quran. Expect that it is not a condition for the beneficiary to be Muslim. This type of Sadaqah includes Sadaqatul Fitr, Nadar, Fidya, Kafara, Udiyah. Let's see the Sadaqatul Fitr. This is a charity which is a duty upon every sane Muslim who possesses the value of nisab beyond the basic necessities. Fathers are instructed to give Sadaqatul Fitr on behalf of those children who have not reached of age. The amount that must be given to equal to 1.6 kg of wheat or 3.2 kg of barley or its like. This does not mean that a person must distribute wheat or barley. One may give it equivalent value. Sadaqatul Fitr is a very emphasized sunnah which becomes due before Eid Salah. It is preferable to give it a few days before Eid so that the poor actually receive and are able to spend it on Eid day. The second type is Nadar. This is an action which becomes necessary due to one imposing it upon oneself. This can be done if one wishes to express gratitude, and the action can take on a number of forms, including Sadaqah. If a person makes such an oath of giving charity, that then becomes Sadaqah wajibah. If they are unable to uphold the oath, they will have to give kafara and may be sinful. The third type is Fidya. This is compensation for missing Salah or Sawm for a person who cannot perform them due to being terminal illness or being deceased, or in the event of a person making a minor mistake in Hajj. The amount for each missed Salah or Sawm or each minor mistake in Hajj is to give 1.6 kg of wheat or its value to the poor. Fidya is generally Sadaqah wajibah. Sadaqah nafila may be given in the addition either from the deceased state or in their behalf, in which case both the giver and the deceived are rewarded. Kafara. This is major compensation and like Fidya. It is also Sadaqah wajibah. It applies in various situations such as if a person break a fast intentionally, break an oath or kill someone. Kafara would then be binding as the form of redemption. There are 5 actions for which kafara will be necessary. However, they fall under 2 types. Number 1. Greater kafara. For redemption of this, a person may free a slave or fast for 60 consecutive days. Failing that, one may feed 60 poor for a day. This kafara applies to intentionally breaking fast, breaking zihar, being the direct cause of someone's death. Lesser kafara. For redemption of this, a person may free a slave or feed 10 poor people for 2 meals in a day, or give each of them clothing. Failing this, he may fast for 3 consecutive days. This kafara applies to breaking, violating yamin, oath, breaking ilah, udiyah. This is also known as Qurbani or sacrifice. It is wajib upon all mature Muslims who on the day of Eid al-Adha possess nisab. Whoever qualifies for this is required to purchase a sheep or goat and slaughter in the name of Allah after the Eid prayer. Sadaqa nafila. This is charity which is not binding in nature but in optional. This type includes alms given for the removal of difficulties, philanthropic, the general giving of any halal items to anyone. This type doesn't need to be spent on the special categories to be rewarding, nor does it have to be spent on Muslim. Although if spent on poor Muslim, it would be more rewarding. These following are types of Sadaqa nafila. Number 1. Lillah. Waqf. Akika. Sadaqa for the upliftment of difficulties. Sadaqah for the expiation of sin. Charity above the amount of zakat and sadaqah wajibah. Number 1. Lillah. This is Sadaqa nafila but is a type that does not have the condition of having to be passed into the possession of a person, as it can be given to institutes like masjid, hospitals, schools, orphanage. Waqf. This is to allot something as a trust for a certain cause. This can be during one's lifetime, bequeathed, and one's will, when executing the donation, becomes the property of Allah, and its beneficiaries are to remain those named as the cause. The difference between this and lillah is that with waqf, ownership is not given to the people or institute, but only the benefits are ascribed. Like today trust, waqf also required the care of trustees over it. Akika. This is the sacrifice of an animal to thanks to Allah for the birth of child. With this too can members of the locality be fed. Preference again is for the poor and close family members. Sadaqah for removing difficulties. One at the time of duration should ask Allah to make easy one's deliverance. This can be understood from the hadith. It is mentioned in Jama at-Tirmidhi. Sadaqah smooths the Lord's anger and protects against a bad death. This type of sadaqah can also be given as lillah. Sadaqah for expiation sin. One at the time of donation should ask Allah to forgive one's shortcomings. This can be understood from the verse. It is mentioned in glorious Quran. Indeed, good deeds take away bad deeds. This type of sadaqah can also be given as lillah. Charity above the amount of zakat and sadaqah wajiban. This type of sadaqah is essence of lillah. Although not categorized as necessary, this type of charity, as long as from pure mean and with pure intention, is always accepted by Allah. It is also this type that Allah has described as a beautiful debt, as He treats His charity as a loan, which He will repay in the hereafter, as it is mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid, chapter number 57 and verse number 11. Who is he that will loan to Allah a beautiful loan, for will increase it manifold to his credit, and he will have a liberal reward. Now let's see other types of charity. Sadaqa Jariyah. This sadaqah is not a separate category, but it is really a sadaqah nafila, which is spent on the cause of long-term benefit, and in essence is very similar to waqf. Qardul Hasana. This literally means to give a good loan. In the language of the Quran, this term is used for Sadaqa Nafila. These rewards of Qarde Hasna are exclusive to Sadaqah, loans given to Islamic institute and then forgiven become this type of Sadaqah. Presently, this term is often used to denote qard. Qard, this means an Islamic loan. Islamic here means the two things must be upheld from the side of the creditor. The first, that neither interest can be charged nor any other benefit be taken in lieu of the loan. The second is that at no time can the creditor show any sign or self-glory or remind the debtor of the favorer. Alhamdulillah.